morning, Barbara.
Maybe a few more choruses.
And all you truth seekers at home, good morning.
Want to tell them what the song is?
The morn of truth is breaking. That's our song for right now, under the T's. The morn.
We'll give Joanne a second turn.
Good morning. Welcome to the Pasadena New Thought Center. We are a New Thought Ancient Wisdom congregation that believes in the power of our God-aligned thoughts in the form of prayer, meditation, and affirmation to create a reality that is a happy, healthy, and abundant one. And you all know who I am. So, see where I am. It's time to create our circle of love. I'd like to do something else as we do our circle of love. I couldn't decide whether to put it in the meditation or in the, where to put it, but I think this is the right place to put it. As we create this loving energy, yesterday I went to see Sister Jones Sasse, and she has this wonderful thing, and maybe you've heard of it before, but as we create the energy and feel a connection from Mother Earth up through our head and back down through our body, bring it through your hands, and we're going to put the globe, the world, between our right hand and our left hand. And as we bless each other, we're going to bless everybody on the planet. So let's just rub our hands together and get some energy going. Just feel your connection to Mother Earth, and let's bring that energy up, up, up through our crown chakra, and then back down and through our hands. And as we bless each other, we put our world between our hands, and we send peace, and we send love, and we send unity, and we send respect to everyone on our planet, to all of God's creations. And we embrace it for ourselves. And so it is. I just kind of want to do that. It felt really good to me to do that. So thank you for participating. So for my inspiration this morning, I opened up Daily Word and out came divine order. Aligning our thoughts with spiritual truth, I affirm divine order. Affirming divine order can be such a comfort, especially when chaos seems to reign and a desired outcome feels out of reach. But divine order is so much more than a comforting idea. It's a spiritual truth that underlines all things and upon which all manifestation depends. If I feel out of step with divine order, I don't try to tackle the chaos that surrounds me until I first have gone within. Order begins with me in my own mind. I begin by meditating on the idea of order, letting it take root in my consciousness and nurture there. I then give thanks for the ideas I receive from my prayer time and act upon them, one at a time. I practice patience as I trust divine timing, knowing my life and all life is in divine order. And from Job 42:5, I have heard you by the hearing of my ear, but now my eyes see you. I really like that. Okay. So now is our time for our statement of being. Let's affirm and align our intentions for today's service by reciting it together. The statement of being expresses our willingness to open our hearts and minds to receive the infinite, endless store of good God always has in mind for us. Together we say, I am spirit. I think, see, feel, and live as spirit in the presence of God. And through the power of God in me, am able to manifest the perfection of spirit in mind, body, and environment. And today, we are very blessed to have Jeffrey Lopez back with us. Yay, Jeff. And he is going to complete his third part of the rulership governing the nations within. Before we listen to his talk today, we're going to have a meditation. So if you haven't already done so, please silence your phones. Take anything off your lap that might distract you, placing your feet flat on the floor and getting comfortable in your seat. Close your eyes as we take a series of 3 deep breaths. Breathing in, we hold it within. And we release any tightness in our body. Take a second deep breath. Hold it. And now breathe out completely. Feeling relaxed and being present in this moment. So we take our third deep breath. Hold it. And release it. This is our time to be with Spirit. This morning, I want you to imagine a beautiful garden filled with your favorite flowers. The birds are softly singing. Butterflies are fluttering around as the sun shines down on us from the top of our head and warming every cell in our body. This is our place. This is our space for peace, for love and joy. A garden of unity. Feel the love of our Creator as we sit in this beautiful garden with the sun shining down on us, and we go into our sacred silence. Be aware of your feet on the floor. Move your hands. Gently move your body. Knowing that at any time we can come back to this place of peace, this place of love and joy and unity, for it dwells within all of us. Take a deep breath, and when you're ready, you may open your eyes. invite Jeff to come up. I forgot to do his bio this morning. Okay. Since his first spiritual awakening experience over 20 years ago, Jeffrey Lopez has been on a mission to remind people of their inherent divinity. Nice. He is a student of many disciplines, including leadership, spirituality, human behavior, and the healing power of music. As an ambassador of spirit, Jeff shares through these disciplines the revelations and insights that have helped him go from beginning to knowing that we are here for a purpose. In 2018, Jeff founded the Sound Investors, an organization dedicated to helping people step into their leadership. It strives to turn mystical concepts into practical applications that we can use in our daily lives. As a musician and a DJ, Jeff spreads love and wisdom through music, reminding us how frequency and sound affects our minds, body, and soul. He hosts an internet radio show called Meditation Breaks that combines positive affirmations with breath work set to beautiful sounds of jungle music. I'm going to try that out, Jeff. I love jungle music. Jeff has formed a great appreciation and affection for us here at PNTC, and he's here in spirit with us. And this morning, we're going to hear from him. So please come up, Jeff. Let's give him a big welcome.
Thank you, Reverend Barbara, and thank you, everyone, for being here today. Thank you, choir, for setting the tone with that beautiful song. And it makes me think all in God's good time is something to keep in mind, because God lives beyond time and beyond space. But since we live in time and space, it's probably a good idea to figure out how to use that to our advantage, right? So to start with my talk today, I want to talk about what we covered over the last 2 sessions I was here. First, we talked about being an ambassador of the kingdom. Second, we talked about being a citizen of the kingdom. And now, the final authorization in this series is our rulership. And here's the reason that matters. A ruler governs territory, and whether we admit it or not, each of us is already governing something. Our thoughts, our body, our choices, our direction. But how many of us actually take charge of that government? How many of us are tending to our nations? Scripture mentions a healing of the nations, and I want to offer a practical way to understand that. But first, a question. Would you agree with me if I said that you were born to be a ruler of nations? I know that might rub some people the wrong way. It might bring up what we're currently seeing in the world: inequity, hierarchy, power being abused. And that's precisely why I asked the question. If your initial answer is disagreement, then you are inviting someone else or something else to rule the nations that you are by birthright meant to rule. You are a ruler of nations. What nations am I talking about? First, your imagination. Second, your incarnation. Third, your designation. Fourth, your determination. And lastly, your destination. Do you really want someone else ruling your nations? I think not. But that's what's happening when we're not actively leading ourselves. We're giving the use of our creative ability to someone or something external to us. So now let's see what happens when we let someone or something else rule our imagination. When the world tells us that we're not good enough or aren't worthy because we don't have certain things, and we agree with it. When someone reminds you of a time that you made a mistake to make you believe that you're a bad person. Now the guilt, the shame, the fear, they all start to settle in and produce certain thoughts. Now we start to imagine scenarios that confirm those notions, and just like that, we have willingly handed over our rulership to an outside source. The same happens when something goes well for us. If we let it boost our ego and act like we are now better than others, now we've activated a cycle that could lead to self-righteousness and abuse of power. This is also a result of willingly handing over our rulership to an outside source. Am I saying you're not allowed to feel good or bad? Not at all. What I'm saying is that we are allowed to go beyond just good and bad. We're not here to deny or ignore the things that are happening around the world. We're here to catch a vision that takes us beyond current circumstances and use the power of our imagination to get there. According to Neville Goddard, our imagination is the part of us that represents God. Ernest Holmes describes true imagination as fire from heaven, a powerful divine creative force rather than just idle daydreaming. And as a core concept of his science of mind philosophy, he taught that imagination is a creative mechanism of the universe, allowing individuals to mentally image and bring their desires and higher potential into the physical realm. As we move into the physical realm from imagination, the living body temple becomes a key instrument. So let's go over what rulership of our incarnation is all about. Reclaiming rulership over the body temple could also be called learning to regulate our nervous system. Once we learn to work with our nervous system, it starts to become an environment where the body can actually heal itself and our brain can function properly. It's no longer a fight, it's a dance. So now instead of avoiding attacks, we're moving together in sync in a beautiful way. It's no longer a space of only one can be victorious. Instead, it's a space where working together is how we become victorious. Now that the nervous system isn't on constant alert, we have the space and time to think and respond, not just instinctually react. We move from the animal brain to the angelic brain, from surviving to thriving. The key here is to become familiar with how our body and brain work, so when it's time to troubleshoot, we're not shooting in the dark. Having specific targets to focus on, we design a practice to hit the bullseye. We know how breath and movement help circulate energy. We have an awareness that the body is able to heal itself when we provide the environment to support that. We realize there are practical steps that go along with the awareness. That awareness alone will not activate the transformation. Transformation? What transformation? The transformation from being a person who willingly gives away their authority of ruling their nations to a person who consciously asserts their position as ruler of their nations. Not to dominate, but to have dominion. So if our goal is dominion, but we've been living in a body with the nervous system set to dominate or be dominated for most of our life, there has to be a shift. The shift has a design, which is why it is essential to reclaim rulership of our designation. And just to give designation a little definition here, designation is the act of identifying, appointing, or selecting someone or something for a specific role, purpose, or title. Did you catch that? When I read that definition, it blew my mind. The act of identifying, appointing, selecting, that in itself is a whole session. Do you realize that if we let go of the rulership of our designation, we are letting other people and things identify us and assign us purpose? That's heavy. But we don't have to worry about that, right? Every single person we come across just loves everything about us and calls us only the sweetest and kindest things, right? How many times has our day been completely thrown off because of a weird look a friend gave us when we shared something personal? How many times did we feel completely alienated when the cool kids denied us a spot in their group because we didn't fit in? Did a teacher tell you that you weren't smart enough? All these times in our life when someone added another designation to us, causing confusion in our mind about who we really are. I know the feeling and I know it hurts. I also know what the power of designation has. By simply changing the designation of a situation from good or bad to an opportunity for growth and a chance to display self-mastery, things shift dramatically. I'm not saying it's easy. That sentence took me 43 years to write, with 25 years of intense research and 10 years of application to still only be scratching the surface. I don't mean that in a discouraging way. I mean it in a sense of how infinitely vast and amazing this journey really is. Once you get a taste of infinite possibility and the ability to govern your life in a way that being of good cheer becomes your nature, you have less interest in all of the noise. You are in tune with the pure original signal, and it feels so alive that you can't help but want to share it with everybody. Not with dominance, but with dominion. The opportunity here is to, instead of telling people about it, you show them what it's like. This is where determination gets called in for some playtime. So what is determination? Determination is the firm or fixed intent to achieve a goal characterized by persistence, resolve, and willpower, even when facing difficulties. It also refers to the act of decoding, settling a matter, or calculating a precise result. When I found this definition, some very interesting things came to mind. Let's start with that last part. It also refers to the act of deciding, settling a matter, or calculating a precise result. It made me think of what happens when we allow someone else to rule our determination. Someone says you don't deserve something because you didn't earn it, but you actually did. Someone says you can't attract a certain kind of partner because of your social status, or even worse, because of your looks. Someone determines you aren't worthy of a certain career because you don't have the credentials, and you agree. We've let someone else determine our career path. And that last one is one I've personally danced with for the last 20 years. Do you really want someone else ruling your determination? Because I don't. I am determined to demonstrate that being in alignment with our true nature will take us further than chasing titles or approval, which speaks more to the first part of the definition of determination, which I'll go over again. That first part says, the firm or fixed intention to achieve a goal characterized by persistence, resolve, and willpower, even when facing difficulties. So what are we determined to do? What is our goal? The determination of those who have a scarcity mindset might still be to fight and cause more division, doing anything to keep people believing that it is not possible to have joy in our life. But our determination, we here and other people in tune with the divine, is to seek first the kingdom and its righteousness. And by doing so, we allow the Creator to do its thing as our life, and we no longer have to hope it's possible to experience heaven on earth. We now have first-hand experience and know what it's like. We also have the experience of what it can do for others and how it rejuvenates and inspires them to express their own greatness. The energy we get from those experiences is what helps us shift our destination from the world to the kingdom. The exhilaration of experiencing true transformation and seeing it happen for others as well becomes so fascinating that the noise just can't keep our attention anymore. Sure, we get distracted here and there, but the majority of our attention stays on how we can remind people they don't have to wait to die in order to experience heaven, and that the kingdom is at hand now. It becomes easy for the kingdom to be the destination because at some point it dawns on us that we've been there the whole time. We never left. So what happened? What happened was that we forgot who we are and where we're from. Different philosophies describe it in different ways, but from what I've gathered, a practical way to look at it is that we simply forgot we are worthy. But this is not about becoming worthy. This is about remembering what's already true. So growth becomes expansion and not self-punishment. Because when self-worth is low, we can hear a talk like this and translate ruler as pressure. Or we can translate it as or we can translate it as arrogance. But in the kingdom, rulership is neither. In the kingdom, rulership is responsibility with love. It's leadership as self-mastery. It's the willingness to govern your inner world in a way that restores wholeness and allows healing, so you can help others remember that they can do the same. When we reclaim rulership of our nations, we stop putting people or things on pedestals or pits. We move beyond duality, beyond good, bad, right, wrong, better, worse. We now live from the knowing that everything is a unique emanation of the Creator. We can be in the world, but not of it. We have gone from being influenced by the external to being an influence on the external. We have activated the kingdom within and are demonstrating that the kingdom of heaven is at hand. And if kingdom of heaven feels too far away or too religious, let me say it in a more practical way. The kingdom of heaven is the place where self-mastery is the culture. It's the community where people are aware of their inherent greatness and they recognize it in others too. Where people treat each other as equals, not by force, but by nature. Because they know each person is created on purpose, for a purpose, and is a direct emanation of the source of all creation. So I talk about all of these nations because even as I wrote this and as I've been working on this concept for the last few years, I realized that it makes it much easier for me to apply it in my life and not just see it as some theory that I can hopefully figure out one day. And one of the phrases that I keep with me very close is that we are all worthy of love no matter what our past is. We are enough just as we are, and we are complete now that nothing is missing. And the more I learn about how we are complete now and that nothing is missing, it makes me think of how many times we hear lots of narratives that we have to get rid of something in order to be ourselves. Either we have to get rid of the ego or bad thoughts or whatever, right? And I practiced that for a long time, and then I realized that all it did was cause more frustration. Because if I truly believe I can be perfect, anytime I'm not perfect, I judge myself. So it creates a really big imbalance the more we believe that we can be perfect and that making mistakes is bad or wrong or makes us lesser than. The more I understand that this whole game we call life is more about reconciliation and less about getting rid of things, I start to see that all of the parts of me are a part of a much bigger feedback system that the Creator has given us in order to guide us. So again, that's why I think designation is one of the most important nations we rule over, because once I can designate something beyond good and bad and see it as something I can learn from and help others with, now I start to understand that my mistakes are actually basically the badges of honor that I get to show to people who are currently living in trauma or in some kind of state where they feel lesser than, right? Because if we walk around acting like we are perfect and tell people you can be perfect, they're going to go through that same scenario that I just mentioned. If perfection is never making a mistake, that means that anytime I make a mistake, I'm lesser than. This proves to me that I am not worthy, that I'm not a representative of the source. So it makes me think of what I guess Christianity and religions of that nature call the Holy Spirit. When I first heard about the Holy Spirit, I thought it was something that was only designated to Christianity, Catholicism, things related to the Bible. And then I heard a few people in the metaphysical world talk about that holy isn't a religious term. It simply means being whole. So when we talk about the Holy Spirit, it's really just a feeling that we are complete and that nothing is missing. And when we start to walk around demonstrating to people that we've reconciled with the parts of ourselves that we used to not like, now, instead of being so far away from where they are, we're showing them what the next step is. And if someone lives in fear, is it easier to make a leap of faith or to take one simple step? Probably one simple step, right? So again, this is where I learned that mistakes and things that we don't prefer in our life are actually the feedback that keeps us humble, as long as we look at it the right way. And if we look at the other side of that, when things go right for us and people start to praise us, if that becomes an imbalance, then again, we walk around in self-righteousness and we start to basically tell people or show people with the way we are that if you do what I do, you're going to become this pompous person, right? Because I'm walking around with ego. And if we don't want that to be what we're displaying to people, it's important to remember that not only is it important to observe our mistakes in the right, or I don't want to say in the right way, to observe our mistakes in an objective way, it's also important to make sure that we allow people the space to make mistakes without judgment. And this is where being in the culture of self-mastery comes into play. If we truly understand that we are whole and that we embody every aspect and every trait that is possible, now when someone is mean to me or talks down to me, I don't resent them. What I do is I realize that, oh, I also do this in one way. So if I judge them, I'm judging myself. Because the whole external world is simply a mirror of what we believe in our internal world. And I'm not sure if anyone here is familiar with Dr. John DeMartini, but he really helped me figure out a way to see everything that's happening in my life as a feedback system and to go beyond good and bad. And the way he helped me understand that is with a concept that says we don't put if we put people on pedestals or in pits, we're creating a space for things that we don't prefer. So if we put someone on a pedestal, we're creating a space for resentment. Because what we're doing is we're seeing them better than us, and what we're actually doing is we're denying the greatness in them is also in us, which is why we put ourselves in a pit. And on the flip side, if we put people in pits, now we create a space for shame, because we're constantly seeing ourselves as better than them. So when we come to a situation where they either get to demonstrate their equality or somewhere where they're better than us, now we start to feel shame because of that imbalanced way of looking at things. So if we focus on ruling our nations and not ruling other people's nations, we start to come to terms with ourselves. And what I love about having the light and the dark within us is that I realize that this is how we get to practice without hurting other people first. If we learn to love ourselves and to truly love ourselves and see ourselves as completely whole, it's the only way we'll be able to translate that to other people. Because people can sense inauthenticity very quickly. Whether they tell us or not is not as important. But if we're not being authentic to ourselves, then we're letting go of the rulership of our nation. And if we do that, we're not going to be able to help others take rulership of their own. So now I want to talk a little bit about how we take rulership of those nations without, how do I put it? Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Well, how about this? I'll go over with you what happened to me as I was writing this speech in taking rulership of my nations. When I was asked to speak again, I didn't have anything prepared, so immediately my imagination started running wild. I started thinking, oh, if I'm not ready, what are these people going to think about me? Right? And that's where we get scared, and that's why we don't do things, because we get so caught up in believing that other people's opinions are the determining factor of our lives. And it's not because we voluntarily decided that. It's because throughout our lives, we've been surrounded by cultures that make us believe that, right? We hear constantly that if people don't accept you, then there's something wrong with you. Yet, we're overlooking the only acceptance that actually matters, which is the acceptance of the divine. And if we are truly representations of the divine, let's look at the characteristics of the divine. The divine is self-assured. It doesn't ask anybody or anything its opinion. It's already made the decision. And while that might sound a little harsh, it probably sounds harsh because we're reminded constantly that people in power do things only for themselves, that it's hard for us to imagine a benevolent ruler. And that something that has power over us would actually have our best interests in mind. And that's why seeking the kingdom, to me, is so important, because it's the opposite of everything that's going on in the world. And if we focus all of our attention on the things that are in the world, how can we have hope? The world doesn't show us the kingdom. And that's not a bad thing. That's actually part of the design of this whole game. Because what I've come to learn is the only way we can demonstrate the glory and the power of the divine is if there's something other than that in front of us. So a simple way of putting it is, if there's someone absolutely freaking out in front of us and we can stay calm, not judge them, and show them love, that's the power of God. If everyone was perfect and we were just moving around in self-mastery, there would be no way to display the power, because everyone is equal, right? And that's why I'm starting to love Earth School, as Dolores Cannon calls it, because here is where we get to demonstrate the power of God. Not to say that it's not demonstrated in heaven or in the quantum field or in the field, whatever you want to call it, but that's all that exists there. So it's not impressive. And I think you know what I mean. I'm not saying it's not impressive in general, but we don't see a difference because everyone is impressive there. So when we come to Earth School, I actually take joy sometimes when people give me frustration. Because I'm not going to say that I don't get frustrated or that I don't get mad or sad. I've just learned how to shift back into the kingdom mindset when that does come up. Because that's really all we can do here. Because if in the kingdom there is no choice, we are all just living in the thoughts of God, then again, how can we demonstrate power by choosing to be divine. Since on earth we have all these other options that many people choose to live by, now again, being able to, like Jesus said, say to people, do not fear, do not worry. When things are going crazy, people start to think, how is Jill so calm during this time? How is Hoberly saying all these beautiful things about a better world when this is happening? Why is Stephanie always in such a good mood when all of these crazy things are happening? Right? Now we don't have to tell people anything. Simply by our demonstration, they start to think, wow, this person has it together. I don't know what it is, but they're demonstrating something I want, which is to go from living in fear, doubt, and worry to knowing that we have access directly to the source where anything is possible. So as I wrap up, I'm going to ask you again, would you agree with me when I tell you that you are a ruler of nations? And if you still don't, it's okay. It took me, I don't want to say how old I am, but it took me a long time to figure this out. And I'm not saying I'm perfect at it. I'm learning how to use it as I speak with people about it. And this is what I love about having at least one person, hopefully you have more than one person, but having at least one person who you can talk to about with these things. Because if we're constantly talking to people that don't agree with us and we haven't yet embodied it, we're still letting the outside world influence us. And as long as we do that, we're not able to demonstrate the glory. And as we wrap up, I do want to let you know that you've already been authorized. All of what I'm talking about is yours by birthright. And the beauty of all of this is that nobody and no thing on earth can take this away from you. The only way that we can let go of our rulership is by allowing it. And the only way we can keep it is by allowing source. So as you go through your week, after we leave here, think about how you can take rulership of your nations, not through dominance, through dominion. And to be clear, if you don't know the difference between dominance and dominion, dominance implies rulership through force. Dominion implies rulership through stewardship and allowance. So I want to thank you all again for giving me this time to share what I've been learning, and I hope this brings value to all of you, and I look forward to speaking with you all more in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Now is our time to give back of some of that abundance that we've received in this life, knowing that everything that we give from our hearts, willingly and lovingly, comes back to us tenfold. If you have your gift, hold it between your hands. If you've already put it in the basket, please raise your hands to bless the offering as we say together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am. And so it is. So just a few announcements. Hopefully everybody will come and join us for bagels and coffee in Harmony Hall. The flowers today were donated by Reverend Marshta, so thank you, Reverend Marshta. And thank you, Stephanie, for delivering them. And next week, I believe Reverend Greta will be here. And there's a board meeting today. Okay, so please come out and have a little bite to eat, and then the board will get down to business. So would you like to do the benediction, Jeff? Sure. Okay. And then we'll have our closing song.
So as we wrap up today's service, I invite everyone to just close their eyes, go within for a moment, take a breath, feel the energy of the source, of the creator, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it. And remember that you are a representative of the source. You are worthy of being a representative of the source. And you are here as a channel for the source to bring heaven to earth. Thank you.
Thank you. Our closing song is Thank You for This Day. You can find it in your hymnals under the T.